Happy opening day, Yankees baseball. This is Pittsburgh Chronicles. I'm Latassi McDonald. Chris Northrup, we are still waiting to find out if Luca is finished with his travel back home after some family time. But nevertheless, the show must go on as we are ready for our 6th annual prediction show to celebrate the start of the baseball season. Chris, 6 years we've been doing this. And let me tell you, it gets better every year. Every year it gets better and better. Yep, Luca is home, ready to go.
All right, just in time.
First off, I want to thank everybody the other day that wished me well. I was severely under the weather. I'm still kind of recuperating. So if I jump off camera, it's just because, my nose is still running a little bit as a cold almost knocked me out. But I don't care if I was on my deathbed. I tell the group people, hold on, it's opening day. And I got to be with the people. So good morning, everybody. All right. So here we go. Here's how we do opening day. We got a ton of predictions. I think we got 15 predictions that we're going to go around the table for, interact with you all. This is the holiday of all holidays. Forget Christmas. Forget New Year's. Opening day is where it's at for Yankees baseball. I want to start it off because I want to get kind of the controversy out of the way. Okay. If you are anti-Netflix and all these extra streaming services, are you locked into what, are you going to spend the extra money to watch tonight's game? And is the time of the game itself a controversy? Never mind the streaming service. We've gone through that. An 8 p.m. start on a Wednesday night. Did MLB and Netflix screw it up by having such a late game? And I want to go around the horn on that. Not so much the streaming service. Like I said, we've gone through that. But is the time of the game on a school night, a work night, a lot of people like myself, I'm off tonight. I always take opening day off. It's 17 years straight that I've been doing that. So I want to know what you guys think of the start time and why other games normally opening day is in the afternoon. So Donald, we'll kick it off with you. We'll throw it to Luca and Chris.
Well, I mean, I'm already a Netflix subscriber, so it doesn't really put me up or down. But I don't think it's a smart way of doing business. I think it's unfair on the regular consumer of baseball. It's completely out of nowhere. I'm sorry, it should be on Yes Network. I mean, if it was a national game, then the national networks. But to be put on Netflix, I just completely disagree with that. I think it's pretty wrong. It's just an opportunity to get more and more money out of you, and I think it's pretty shameful. And I'm worried that these kind of decisions are gonna have an adverse effect on baseball because we've seen what's happened with the NBA, where they've just been chasing the almighty dollar, and it's lost a lot of viewership that way. And it looks like MLB are trying to do the same thing here. 8 p.m. start, you're basically taking away kids from watching the game. They're gonna have to go to bed within like the third inning or whatever, and so their excitement for opening day is now hurt. And I mean, it's too late to go to a game. What are you going to do? You're going to get your kids to travel all the way there and then go to an 8 p.m. start. And then, I mean, you can't bring a family to that game because it's going to be midnight by the time you're finished. So I don't know. I think that was a really poor way of doing it. Now 8 p.m. starts during the regular season, no problem. But opening day, I think you should probably had it a little earlier, and they should have had it on their normal networks. So it'll be very interesting to see what the viewership figures will be once it's all said and done after this. I mean, a lot of us have Netflix subscriptions, so I'm sure that it's going to be fine. But Um,
I have not decided
like I
yet if I'm
said,
going to get a
it,
subscription.
all I'll say is I think it's a bad precedent. Chasing the almighty
Yeah.
dollar sets a bad precedent. You actually make the almighty dollar by make smart decisions that make everybody interested, everybody excited. And I think the way to do that would be have the game earlier and have the game on the Yes Network slash Fox, etc. So it sucks, really sucks. But as a one-off, it is what it is. But I'll still be tuned in. But I think it sets a bad precedent.
Yeah, I know the 8 p.m. start. That's an Eastern time, but in California it'll actually be 5, because they're 3 hours behind New York. So that also does come into context as far as with the start time. But it's a New York team. It's the New York Yankees, and the fan base is immense, nationwide and worldwide. So having the time of the game, that's where the controversy lies in with the amount of Yankee fans in New York. Luca, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, first of all, good morning, everybody. Happy opening day. It's an interesting battle. I mean, first of all, let me get to the Netflix thing real quick. I don't have Netflix, so I'm actually going over a friend's house to watch the game. I'm not going to pay the money. So, regardless of that, getting into the time and everything, Tats, you mentioned a great point talking about the time zone. It's tough because the Yankees are playing on the West Coast. They're playing the Giants. 3 hour difference from us to them. More so having the 3 hours ahead as opposed to 3 hours behind. You got to battle time wise because last year, what was it, a 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock start
1 o'clock
time
start.
on ESPN? And most of those kids are in school. So it's like, okay, they're not going to win by having the game at 1 o'clock. They're also not going to win by having the game at 8 o'clock because if you want to have them see the whole game's going to be finished up by what, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they're going to be ready for bed soon. So it's like you really have to battle because you also want to be fair to the West Coasters and say, okay, 7 o'clock would be a reasonable start time. And think about it this way, too. Like when they do Sunday Night Baseball, now obviously it's going to be NBC instead of ESPN.
Mhm.
Like they've had games on the West Coast here at 7 o'clock and then be 4 o'clock over there. Remember, because Sunday's obviously a school night for the kids. But regardless, 7 o'clock wouldn't have been a bad idea.
Yeah,
Not saying
7 Eastern
o'clock.
time makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7 o'clock, I think it would have been the perfect medium. 4 o'clock, people are starting on terms of the West Coast. 4 o'clock, kids are home. Parents are starting to come home from work. And I think that would have been perfect. I think 7 o'clock would have been right on the spot. Personally.
Yeah, they made a mistake with that. Plus the Netflix thing.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, it just adds to the complexity of enjoying the opening day. Chris, your opinion on it?
I'm not too bothered by. I mean, the 8 o'clock start is inconvenient, yes, and all the arguments I agree with. However, when you're starting on the West Coast, it's always going to be inconvenient. But I have a couple thoughts about the streaming and that sort of thing. And I think what it kind of boils down to in a general way is that MLB hates fans, first of all. Oh, wait, is hate too strong a word? They don't mind.
Not at all.
Yeah, so
That's what
MLB
it's
is
been.
indifferent to our suffering. They don't care. But I also think that the whole league is in flux and in a transition in terms of it's bringing its product to the people. There is the regional networks failed that experiment pretty much across the board. That didn't go well in many places, including even Chicago at the end of the season last year laid off more than laid off their top executives for the Marquee Sports Network. And basically, they assigned it to an executive in-house with no broadcast experience. And then their viewers, like me, were in flux. And so I bought a couple of different things to try to get Cub games. I mean, I'm a Yankee fan. I can watch, yes, that's not a problem. but getting games out of market for any fan is a problem. And they finally ended up, now I see where they're going to be showing games on Amazon Prime. If only they had decided this sort of earlier, and before I spent a lot of money on different options trying to figure out how to get the games. I think that it's a transition period for the whole league. I think we're going to see something in the coming years, maybe coming out of the CBA even, where the television, bringing the product out to the people somehow is going to be more streamlined. It should be easier for fans to have access to the games. You shouldn't have to have 4 or 5 services. You shouldn't have to pay hundreds of dollars. But we'll see what happens. But as I say, I think we're going to see a change and something more standardized come out of it.
Yeah, you would think with the upcoming expiration of the CBA, they would have tried to kick off the year with as much fan-friendly access as possible. It's quite a concept, right? Make the fans happy, the one that's actually driving the machine, as far as paying all your bills. But why? The last games of the year are all played at the same time. Why can't they do the same for opening day? Why, it doesn't need to, I normally take, I'm off today because it's opening day for the Yankees, but I usually sit and I'll hang out, my friends, we'll rent the back of a party room, and we just spend hours just absorbing as many games as possible. So also having today as a standalone game, it takes away from my enjoyment and celebration that baseball is back because I'm only home for one game.
Yeah.
As opposed to absorbing as much as I can. Yeah. Luckily we had the World Baseball Classic, so we've already had the excitement of the competitive games, as opposed to the spring training where the results really don't matter. But I would think that it would be better, to have opening day and the final game of the year. Just every team plays. Enough of this centralized, and trying to isolate one particular game. Because let's be honest, if you're going to have one standalone game for opening, wouldn't the Dodgers have been the team to go to?
Right. They won.
I think that would have been a bigger draw. Let's be honest. I think if the Dodgers were opening their season tonight as a standalone game, I think MLB could have made, and Netflix would have made a lot more money.
And it should have been a 4 o'clock start.
Let's be honest, but it's the honesty of it. The Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Giants. Yes, it has a very storied history to it. But are the Yankees and the Giants really the draw of the league? No, the Dodgers would have been. So I think the MLB
the Yankees play the Dodgers. How about the Yankees Dodgers opening day?
Yeah, that would have been excellent.
Opening day should be, if you want to have a standalone game, have it as a World Series rematch to start the year.
Could do.
Absolutely. Like the NFL does on occasion. The NFL has done that on occasion where they have the Super Bowl champion, defending Super Bowl champion. I think they did that one year where they had the Chiefs and somebody else face off, but
they always have the Chiefs, and they have them in Mexico or these kind of standalone games.
Right.
First week of the season. Completely agree.
Yep. But enough of all the negativity and the complaining. Well, there'll be some complaining in some of the predictions that we have, but let's kick off the predictions. And as like you said, we have so many to get through. If you want to add your prediction into the chat, it's very easy. It's very free, not like Netflix. All you got to do is hit that sub button, and you can join into the predictions, as we will also share our subscribers' predictions as we go along. But let's kick it off with what we think is going to be the overall record for the Yankees in 2026. Chris, we'll kick it off with you.
I'm going to say 92 wins. I'm not sold. I'm not unoptimistic, but I'm not sold that this team, if you run it back, then what we had, how many wins last year? 94? Was it 94 wins last year?
Yeah.
I think. All right. So I think it's going to be I don't think we're going to quite get there because we're running it back. And,
Right.
they're like, oh, Cole. Well, Cole's not going to be Cole until maybe, will he be Cole this year? He's going to be something. But I'm hanging fire. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to be.
Chris, would you say your 92 wins, is that going to win you the division or are they going to be second
No.
place?
I'm saying second place. Toronto.
Okay.
I think Toronto's going to win the division. Yeah.
All right.
All right, Luca.
I'm going to say 93 wins. I like the same train of thought as Chris. I think the Yankees, to answer Donald's question, they will be a wild card team. They are not going to win the division. I send you guys the predictions of the several post writers. A lot of them had the Yankees win the division. I know most of us were speaking in the offseason, hey, this team is like third place, fourth place, whatever, because they're running it back. They really didn't add any new talent per se. But to me, it seems like when we predict that the Yankees are a third place team, they end up becoming a second place team just because they do win some games where they're not supposed to. They do lose a lot of games that they're not supposed to. But at the end of the day, the Yankees are like very cushy at being a second place team. Now, that doesn't obviously mean that they're going to go far in the playoffs or whatever, this, that, and the third. But second place, I think, is where I have them. The Orioles and Red Sox are obviously very close. I think the division will be tight, but I think the Yankees, as I said, they're going to win some more division. They're going to win more games than we think, but also you could consider and say, hey, maybe they're just beating up on those bad teams, and then they get eaten up in the division because the Yankees struggled in the division last year. I think they will struggle with Toronto. I think they will struggle with Boston. They made some nice additions. Baltimore, addition of Pete Alonso. So at the end of the day, all things considered, second place, 93 and 69.
Okay, but 93 is actually quite a lot of wins. So what do you reckon the Blue Jays are going to get? Like 95, 96?
It's a great question. Well, comparing last year's stuff, Blue Jays are actually 94, stunningly. I wouldn't be – I'll tell you what. It's going to be like an NBA kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a small wins regression in the regular season. Not that they would lose the division. I think they're going to win the division to where they actually have a deep playoff run and save it all for the playoffs. Not that they would take games off necessarily, but I could see that kind of thing happening.
Right. Okay. Cool. Second place.
Well,
I'm writing it down. We're going to revisit it.
Yep. No, he's got his notepad, guys. Be careful.
My notepad, baby. Now
Now it's official.
Now it's official, exactly.
All right. I'll throw mine in, and we'll finish this one out with Donald. Yeah, I'm actually a lot more optimistic. I think a season with Cam Schlittler. I think the fact that we're running it back, but you're also going to have a team that's already very comfortable with each other. And with Cole coming back, I think with 94 wins from last year, with the cohesiveness and the return of Cole, a healthy Rodon, I think we could sneak a couple extra wins out. I'm going to say from 94 wins from last year, I think we gained 3 wins. I'm going to say we have a 97-win season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm feeling good today. It's going to kick the ass. I'm feeling good. And I think the division is going to come down to a tiebreaker with the Jays again. Okay. With the Jays on top. But I think we're going to see almost a repeat from last year. But I think the Yankees, with Cole, once he gets comfortable, with Cole, Fried, Rodon, Schlittler, I think we can. I think we can get 3 more wins than we did last year. Just because
what I'll say is 97 wins would win you the division.
That's it. I think it's going down to a tiebreaker. I think that's going to happen again.
Tiebreaker. Okay. I'm pretty sure that 97 would win you the AL East.
Yeah, that should do it.
But that's a huge, huge number. Look forward to revisiting that. Okay. Well, Mr. Negative, I'm going 89.
89.
I'm going with 89 wins. I don't like the bullpen. In fact, I hate the bullpen. It's question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, and then Bednar. So
Yeah, that's true.
I love Bednar. He's fantastic, but who the hell is going to get him the ball? Duvall maybe. I hate the lineup. I'll be honest, I absolutely hate the lineup. There's no on base guys. There's no righty bats. The only reason why they were the best offense in the majors last year is because Aaron Judge made up about half of it. Let's be honest, if not more. He made up about 2/3 of it. I'm not sure if I can rely on Aaron Judge to carry an offense for an entire 2/3 of the offense again like last year. It's very hard to ask someone to have back like Hall of Fame years. Could happen. In fact, I do predict Aaron Judge is going to have a massive year. I'm not saying he's not, but I have real issues with the rest of that lineup. I think Big G's going to have a great year. I think Judge is going to have a great year. I think Reich's going to have a really good year. But after that, I don't trust anybody. So that's why, although I do love our rotation, but how much can we ask of Garrett Cole when he comes back from injury? And Ryan Weather scares me, and I don't trust Will Warren as much as everybody else does.
Scares me too.
And then there's this Luis Steele thing in AAA. That's weird for me. So I'm going to go 89 wins, and I'm going to go. But here's my thing, right? 89 wins sounds really bad, but I still think it's second place because I think that everyone's going to beat each other in the American League. The Orioles are really good. The Rays will still be there. The Blue Jays are really good, and the Red Sox are really good, right? And I think that everyone beating each other, everybody capable of beating each other, is going to drive the wins down rather than drive the wins up. So that's why I'm aiming down a little bit, because I think that the Blue Jays are going to lose some games to the O's, and I think the Yankees are going to lose games to everybody in the AL East. And I think it's just going to be a bit of a free-for-all. And I think that there's every chance that 92 wins you the division. So I'm going to go Blue Jays winning the division on about 92 wins, something like that. And I have the Yankees edging the Red Sox and Orioles for second place by about a tiebreaker or maybe one game. I think it's going to be a battle. So I'm still going second place, wild card, but 89 wins. At the most 90. At the most 90. They might win 90 on the last day. I wouldn't be surprised. 89 and 90. So that's my prediction.
No, and the crazy part is every one of us has the possibility of being right. It's just, that's baseball season, but look, I do have a habit of hyping opening day. I acknowledge that, but I said what I said. My prediction is what it is. Let's get to our MVP, the guy that we're expecting to carry this team, as Donald had put it, and we've put it a lot. Let's go Judge home runs over under. Originally, I was thinking to use the number 50 for the over under. I kind of think that's selling him a little short of what his average home run season would be. So let's say over under 54 home runs.
Holy shit!
Damn.
That's a bro. Calm down a little bit. 54 is fucking historic. I think 50 is fair.
50. All right, we can keep it at 50. Over under 50 home runs.
But
Luca, you
do
go
what
first.
you want, man. I'm just saying, like 54 is absolutely absurd.
I wrote down 50. We'll keep it at 50. Again, I was sitting at the DMV this morning, going over everything. Again, So let's not count my DMV thoughts because I get. So
I'm
Luca,
gonna
over
like,
under 50.
damn.
Over under 50, I'm going to say slightly over, like a 51, 52, maybe. Slightly over.
Chris?
58. I think he's going to have momentum. I think he's going to be pissed off, actually, Judge, from all the criticism, from the WBC criticism he received, from the fans. I mean, these Yankee fans were saying some things about him, and not just the fans, the reporters. Judge may feel like he's got a chip on his shoulder this season, a little bit. And not that he has to, not that he should, but I think he could easily come out, with big momentum. So I'm saying 58 this year.
T,
Donald?
you go, T.
All right. I'm obviously going to go over. I think history shows that 50 is kind of his benchmark. That's where he's gonna, that's his average. And I think, I could see, 50, 55, 56 as a total. Let's say 55 total. I also think he's going to have a lot more intentional walks.
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
That's another story. Yeah.
I'm going to go over because last year I tried to be the smartest guy in the room and I said under because I thought that everyone was going to intentionally walk him. But even still, the few times that he was throwing a strike, he hit a home run. Basically every single time. So I'm going to go with over. I don't know if it's going to be 52, 53, 54. My original thought was 54. I think there's a very good chance of that. But, I mean, I still think he's going to get over 50. And I think it's going to be another monster year from Aaron Judge. I think it'd be crazy to bet against the guy. What he did last year was mind-blowing. And I wouldn't doubt it again. Plus, I think Chris has a point. I think he's gonna play kind of mad because he got booed in spring training, which I don't care about, by the way. Everybody else did. I don't care, but he's gonna be mad about that. So I think he's gonna have a big time year and lay the smackdown on those who doubt him. In the regular season, the postseason is another thing, but the regular season, I think he's gonna have a big time year. 54 home runs. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, it's Judge is the catalyst for everything, any success that the Yankees are going to have. I think that goes without saying. But try to go for bounce back and forth with the reach 60.
Hey, it's possible, man. I think he could have had 60 last year.
I think so. But I think the point that I forget who was saying it. It was the FJ. It's the protection of the lineup that's going to make the difference. And we're going to take put a pin in the lineup before we get to our Stanton prediction. But let's go back with the pitching because we're all very excited about the starting rotation. We're all feeling optimistic about it with the return of Cole and seeing the how Cam Slittler's going to come into play. So on the pitching staff of the starters, and it's a little murky right now because Heel's starting down in the minor leagues, which I think kind of puts a little fog on what the rotation is going to look like after a week or so. But who has which starting pitcher do you think is going to have the lowest team with the lowest ERA at the end of the year?
I want to start with this one.
Go ahead.
because it's the hottest take. Give me Cam Schlittler.
You have an
I
idea
think-
what do you think his ERA is going to be? Do you have an idea?
I think it's going to be sub 3. I think it's going to be similar to last year. I think he had like an ERA of like 2.46, something like that in that range last year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do it again this year. I think he's going to be in the low twos on ERA sub 250.
Yep.
Give me
Doran's
Cam
sticking right with you.
Schlittler. Duran's right there with me. Give me Cam Schlittler. And remember, this is also a caveat. Qualified ERA. Because I think Garrett Cole may have something very similar, but he's going to have less games. So I'm saying qualified ERA. You need to have a certain number of starts. So of the qualified starters, I would say Cam Schlittler.
Yep. Chris?
100% same answer. Yep.
All right, Chris.
I mean, I think that he and Fried could have, could go back and forth. I think Fried's going to have a strong year, of course, but I Schlittler, you like to see that guy come out and flare, So I think it's going to be Schlittler.
That you want to talk about a hot take, Donald? And all right, I'll throw mine out, and then we'll go to Luca to close out this prediction. I also have Cam Schlittler having the lowest ERA of a 3.10. I think it's he's not going to get completely rocked. I don't think he's going to be able to hold himself completely in the twos, especially because of the division. I think the division is what's really going to hurt his ERA as opposed to the rest of baseball. But I think that he holds it to a very low 3 throughout a full season.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel it to say 3.20. He's got 0.10 points higher than I do.
I'm gonna say I'm actually gonna differ from all of y'all. Max Fried, I think, has the lowest ERA. I think he's your biggest known factor, if that's a phrase.
Yeah.
I think he's in the low. I think he's very much in the low 3s. I'm going to give him like a 3.12 ERA. Not that Cam Schlittler is going to be bad or anything. I don't think he's going to be able to perform well up to a sub 2 or sub 3 ERA. I think it could be easily low 3s, but I think Max Fried is a stable horse in this rotation.
Yeah.
I think he's
No,
one
there's
of
no doubt about that. He is the stable force of the rotation for sure.
I think he's one of the he's one of the more just knowns. You know what you're gonna get. He's the one guy in this rotation. You know what you're gonna get out from him or get from him night in, night out.
Yep.
All right. It's look the starting pitching. I think it really comes down to 3 players. As much as I like Rodon, I don't think he's going to be in the equation of one of our best pitchers of the rotation. But he's sustainable, obviously, of course. But I think as far as like with the ERA race, I think it really comes down to Fried and Cam. That's my opinion on it. Cole's going to be up there, of course, but it all depends on how long it takes him or how quickly he acclimates back to the regular season form, and what it's going to look like. And so I don't think, I think Cole will not give up a lot of runs, but I think he's going to have some games where he's just a little, I think he's going to get a little fatigue around All-Star. So that's why I really, as much as I want to hype up Cole, like, just realistically can't do it. So for the next one, we got to go to Stanton, right? Our guy, right? One of Donald and I's favorites. I know, right? I'm gonna say how many games. Originally, I wrote it down. How many games will he play? But I think because of the roster, I think he's going to get a lot of rest days. So I want to phrase this question: how many games is he healthy and is he able to be in the lineup? Like, how many games will he be ready to play?
Oh, see, I was only prepared. I prepared in advance for how many games is he going to play. I don't know.
You can stay with that if you want.
Yeah, the original, what we wrote, I think let's stick with the original games. I've got him getting 110, playing 110, 115 games. Between 110 and 115. That's been the range. Last year, he only played 77, but he was injured.
Right.
But the year before that, he had 110.
Yeah.
And then I think that he's been in that range. He had like 130, like 2023, something like 2022. And then he's not really been much more than that. So I think 110, 115. So give me 115 for Big G. I think Big G is going to surprise a lot of people. He's going to play more games than expected. And I would say 115 is the top end of that.
Luca?
I'm going to go 95 games. I think he, if we could check the stats, he had played 70, as Dal mentioned, 77 games last year. I think you do see an uptick. I'm going to say 95 games, just slightly below 100.
And Chris, what do you think?
I think he's going to play about 80 games. I don't think he's getting is he getting younger? I don't think he's getting younger. Is he getting healthier?
Is any of us getting younger? I fucking wish.
He can't even open a bag of chips. He can't even open a bag of chips, he says. I mean, what the hell? You know, I mean, he's just accounting for natural decline. I mean, he's just a trip. He has what is wrong with his elbows? Do we even know?
Tennis elbow.
It's tennis elbow.
Elbow. Okay. So tennis elbow. All right. Well, I guess I really only want to see him 80 games. That's really probably too true too. So I'm not the Stanton fan you guys are. I don't dislike him. I like him. I don't think he's the key to everything though.
Yeah,
I mean, this is right, man. Not wrong, man.
Chips can be difficult, especially if that glue line is too close to the top. Oh, forget
Exactly. Oh, dude, when I try and open them, they go everywhere. It's like a freaking explosion. It's like a
it. You ever have those moments you're like, fuck it,
like
you
a
just go
freaking
get a
gender
pair of
reveal
scissors.
cannon. Jesus Christ.
But if he keeps them healthy, I will travel with the team and open any bags of chips or bottles of water that he needs help with.
All right, good.
But no, I have him at 114.
Okay.
I'm in the same optimism with Donald. I think he's going to get a lot of play time, but I think that there's going to be, like, I originally wanted to say 120, but I think they're going to manufacture like those rest days because he's also going to have to share the DH spot with Judge and Bellinger and some of those guys as people rotate in and out. So I think that's going to take 5-6 games away from him. So I went with 114.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Okay, next one.
All right, let's have a little fun. All right, who's going to hit more home runs this year, Grisham or Chisholm? Chris?
Chisholm. I think Jazz will hit 24. I think Grisham will hit 18. I see Grisham coming. I don't think Grisham's going to hit the heights he hit last year, and I think Jazz is probably. I think Jazz hit about that. I forget exactly. I don't think Jazz is like going to suddenly hit a lot more than that than what he hit last year, but.
Wow. So you're actually going to go Grish? Am I right, Chris?
I'm going with Chisholm on that one because I think Grisham's going to regress.
Oh, yeah, for sure. How many home runs do you have Jazz getting?
I have 24.
Oh, my God. That's going to be a terrible year for Jazz.
Well, he runs his mouth. He
So he
shouldn't run
does.
his mouth.
Yeah, I'm no. You're. I'm
Yeah,
no
if he
big
stays
Jets
awake
fan
long
myself.
enough, he could hit 30.
We'll see.
Luca, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that Jazz Chisholm. I must agree with Chris. I think Jazz is going to hit more. I do see a regression for Trent Grisham. I mean, if you look at the past couple of years' stats, I mean, Jazz had a 30-30 season last year. I mean, if you look at the stats, it's actually quite an anomaly. If you look at his prior years, the most he hit prior to 2025 was 24. It's if you look at from 2023 to 2025, it's actually been on the upscale. And I'm not saying Jazz is going to hit 40 home runs. That would be ridiculous. That would be insane. That would give him the bag instantly. But I think Jazz knows this year, is he going to hit for more power? Is he going to hit for averages? Is he going to use the bases? Is he going to run the bases better? Is he going to steal more bases? This is a contract year for him. It is a huge year for his Jazz.
It
Yeah.
is.
Last
Yeah,
year,
it is.
42, 31 home runs. That's good on paper. He didn't perform in the postseason. I think you could see an approach where I could agree with Chris to the point where he hits 24 home runs, but you see that average and on-base percentage go up. I mean, his on-base percentage was 332 last year, OPS 813. So maybe you see similar numbers in that aspect where the average is a little higher and the on-base percentage is a little higher. So 20, I got to say 24 is not a bad prediction. I think I'm going to agree with that. Grisham, I think he hits like 15 home runs.
Yeah, I actually I also have Jazz hitting more, but I think they flipped their numbers. I think they both have a good power year. I'm not expecting a high average, but I think because of the short porch that they're gonna steal a few at home. And I think the both of them just have that swing where they can steal home runs. But I think that they're pretty much going to swap their home run totals from last year. I can see Jazz raising his to 34, Grisham still hitting 30, but having a very low, not having the batting average that will satisfy the fans.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I can see. I was looking at FJ's comment about Grisham. Grisham is not going to play every day. Grichuk is here to play against lefty pitching. Well, I'm going to speak to that later, but I think Grisham is probably on the bubble, don't you? Maybe for the most on the bubble of the players. I mean, if spring training, there weren't too many battles for positions, but I don't think that means that the players in those positions necessarily need to feel comfy.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we had a whole talking point, on a show about it. Actually, headlined one of our shows about how there was a lack of competition this spring.
Yeah.
We didn't get that Volpe Peraza battle. We didn't get it. We should have had a Dominguez Jones battle for center field, but that didn't happen.
Yep.
But it's unfortunately the roster is what it is. But I don't know. I think knowing Cashman, Grisham's not going to. He's going to play.
Right.
I think because Grichuk, has the resume he does, I think that's why he's up and Dominguez isn't, which I think is bullshit. We didn't need Grichuk. So, it was a good backup plan for the spring, in case somebody went down, but there was no need to keep him. But that's neither here. Yeah, that's
right. We've got to move it. So we got to go to my prediction. Yep. I'm gonna go with Jazz. Is gonna have the better year than Grisham for sure. However, the caveat is I think the Jazz is gonna have a really poor year. My reasoning for that is because he's gonna be chasing the almighty dollar. He's going to be chasing stats because he's saying he wants to have a 50-50 year and all that stuff. I think that the more you're going to chase stats, the more it's going to be in your head when it doesn't work out that way. As I always say, baseball is the greatest equalizer. you can walk in saying, I'm going to hit this and I'm going to hit that. It's not basketball. You know, it's not basketball. Basketball, you can work yourself to getting a 40% average hitting for 3-pointers. But I'm sorry, baseball's different. You can't walk in and say, I'm going to hit 55 home runs this year. It's just not going to happen. There's too many variables. And he talks too much. I don't think he's got a team mentality. I think he's all about him. I think it's all about him, and I think he's going to struggle this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if he hits 30 home runs. But I think his average is going to be low. I think he's going to strike out like absurd amount, and I think that the chances of him getting extended are nil. As for Jazz, as for Grish, I think that there's a very good chance that Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez will be wanting to take his job by the end of June. And I think Grish is going to have a terrible year. So Jazz.
So that on my list, that took care of the season stuff, and we're going to get to a couple more of the season predictions before we get into the specifics of tonight's game. So we'll go with one that Donald reminded me of. Let's go with the starter with the most wins. Donald, you want to kick with this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go Max Fried. I think that's a layup. I think that is a layup. Max Fried is going to have the most wins as a starter for the game.
I also agree. I think we're 4 for 4 on that one.
Yeah.
So I think Fried had he had a rough second half. Where he kind of zoned out a little bit. I think this year he's more poised to have a more consistent year. So that's why I have him. Let's go with the breakout player.
Breakout player.
Which player do you think is going to have their breakout?
You know you make me break out.
Ben Rice. Let's see if Ben Rice breaks out. He beat his projections last year, so he could
do it again.
He could do it again. He's young. He's improving all the time. He has got a long way to go to improve. So he could really, improve a lot, and we'd notice.
I actually agree. I think Ben Rice is going to continue to ascend, knowing that he also works with Aaron Judge's hitting coach. But he's literally the one player on this entire roster that I think can only ascend. Like Austin Wells, I don't think he's going to have a good enough year. I mean, Volpe's Volpe. There's just not a lot of, okay, this guy's going to break out. The only guy I see is Ben Rice. That's possibly it.
Breakout, you know what? I think we're going to see a lot more from McMahon. I think McMahon's going to, kind of break out and really be fully embraced by fans, the media, even the critics. I think him being here for a full year, I think we're going to see why. I think at the end of the year, we're going to go, all right, now it makes more sense why they made that move. I think his batting average will go up. Maybe not so much his power, but I think he's gonna have a better hitting year than I'm expecting. I think he's gonna surprise me.
Mm-hmm. I think Rice is the obvious answer because he's the only one that has like upside.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's the only one with upside in the starting lineup because everyone else is on the wrong side of 30 or sucks. So the only guy with upside is Rice. But I'm going to change it up a little bit and say that if I'm going to say Rice, right? But the caveat is if they bother to give Spencer Jones a chance, then it will be Spencer Jones.
Yeah.
If they put their horrendously massive ego aside and admit that Spencer Jones was a better option than Trent Grisham in center field, and they finally give Spencer Jones an opportunity and in a beautiful world that we do not live in, then I think Spencer Jones would actually be the breakout candidate. But unfortunately, I don't trust the Yankees, don't trust their front office,
No.
and I don't trust their coaching staff, and don't trust them to make the right decisions. So it'll probably be Rice, but then put a little bracket and have Spencer Jones.
Yeah. Well, we'll circle back to Donald's backup, his bracket. We'll get Luka first, and then we'll circle back to that. Luka, who do you have as your breakout?
Oh, I said Ben Rice. Ben Rice.
Okay. But the one thing, all right, before let's circle back to what Donald said, because there is a one that we brought into the fold last year that I forgot about, and that is the prospect to watch. Right, last year we voted Cam Schlittler as the prospect to watch, and we were proven very right.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See,
Cool.
I know
We are smart.
You guys are smarter than I thought you were.
Well, we are.
I don't let it get to my head. Trust me. But who do you think is going to be the prospect to watch that will have an impact for the Yankees Major League roster?
Who we starting with?
Go you.
Okay, me. Do you know what? Well, I would say Jones, but I still trust the Yankees, so I'm actually going to go with Rodriguez Cruz.
ERC, okay.
I'm going to go ERC or RC or whatever he calls himself now.
RC Cola, whatever. Yeah.
I'm going to give him – that dude's going to be like Prince. He's going to be like the artist formerly known as Prince. The artist formerly known as ERC. I'm going to he's going to be my prospect to watch because I think he's going to have an unbelievable year out of the bullpen if they finally give him an opportunity.
Luka?
I'm going to say Spencer Jones. I must say ERC kind of sounds like a DJ nickname or a rap nickname. Just for the record.
Chris?
Yeah, I was just, I want to see George Lombard Jr. Perform well because I want to stop seeing Volpe. So I'm going to say Lombard Jr.
Ooh. Do you think he's going to make it to the big leagues this year?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Honestly,
have a big year.
If Lombard Jr. makes it to the big leagues, then there's a bigger problem than I thought there was. Because before he would make it, certainly, somebody else would get a shot first. I mean, like Rosario or I don't know, Caballero they're surely not going to bring up Lombard and maybe they will. I don't know. He's only ever been in AA though. Right? Is he in AAA now? Did he get assigned this year now? He's in AAA?
I think he's a AAA camp.
Yeah, because he only ever went as high as AA up till this point. So maybe we will see him. I would like to, and like I said, stop seeing Volpe, but I'll be watching for Lombard. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm running. I want to run it back with the same mentality from last year. I think it's easier for the pitching prospects to make their way to have the major league impact.
Yeah.
And last spring we saw, Schlittler really, come into his own. We saw that also this spring with LeGrande. I think he's going to be that, that piece that they're gonna ruin. I don't like that they're going to do this, but this is Brian Cashman we're talking about. I think they're gonna bring him up for bullpen, and kind of break him in that way. But I think LeGrande is going to be that prospect that comes up and really helps this team out.
Beautiful. Yeah, this is some good calls right there.
Now with all the optimism, let's get to the next take, which is on the other side of the coin. Who's going to be the biggest disappointment? Luca, we'll go with you first for this one.
Ooh, you could choose so many. It's like multiple choice, guys. It's like multiple choice. You could name Grisham. You can name Jazz Chisholm. You can name Cody Bellinger as one. Honestly, out of all three, everybody's expecting Grisham to regress. I'm actually going to go Cody Bellinger. I think he's going to disappoint. Me and Donald have talked about constantly how from a year-to-year basis, he is very Jekyll and Hyde, very hot and cold.
Yes, he is.
I think this is going to be his cold year, and I don't think fans are going to like it. They're going to look at the contract and say, you know what? This contract was absolute garbage. Bellinger, I think, is going to be the disappointment. I'm sorry to say, but we've seen it year in and year out. I don't think he's going to be worth that big contract.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, if I hadn't decided on Jazz, I would have chosen Bellinger for the same reasons, because his career is a roller coaster, up one, down the next. I mean, I think he hit 175 one year or something, just unbelievable.
It was after his MVP year, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very Jekyll and Hyde. Jazz wants to be a 50-50 guy. We've talked about some of the reasons. I wish he'd use some of that confidence to just perform better. He's only since joining the Yankees, he's hit 251 with an 816 OPS. That's not a lot that's shut your mouth.
Yeah.
He hit 31 homers. He had 31 stolen bases. That's a nice symmetry, but I'd be shocked if he could do better or replicate it. And I mean, I obviously prepared this. I'm reading from my little script, but I think his mouth's a distraction for him and for the Yankees. They don't like people talking anymore, than probably other players like it. He seems like a selfish player for that reason and doesn't come off as a team player. I mean, no one's asking him to be a 50-50 guy. He's not Aaron Judge. He's Jazz Chisholm. Do your job, and just that's my thought on him. And I think that he'll, he has those lapses in the field occasionally that are head scratchers. Just, really dig in, do your be solid.
And yes, definitely, Steve. Smack that like button. And before we get into me and Donald's takes, let's also recognize Issy Devo with the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Put me on record. Absolutely. Donald, get your pencil out. My breakout performer, Luis Heel. He comes up,
all right,
goes
Luis.
All-Star game. So, Issy, you are on record, my friend. And
I like it.
Appreciate you very much. Look, I think my disappointment, I think it's going to, I hate saying it because I really like him as a player. I think it's going to, my letdown is going to be Austin Wells. I don't think he's really let me down. I thought last year he was starting to kind of show some signs of maturity and really come into his game defensively. Behind the plate, he did very well. But I think he takes a step backwards this year, and it's gonna. He's somebody that I was very high on, so that's why I put him as my disappointment. I think Wells is going to be very underwhelming.
Now, are you saying he takes a step back defensively or offensively? Because offensively, I don't think he was that good last year, but defensively. Okay.
Yeah,
because a lot of Yankee fans gave him praise defensively last year.
No, well, his defensive numbers were, in the tops of the league. With some of the top catches. That's what I'm saying. I think he's I don't know if his offense is going to exactly elevate, but I think he regresses back to just being mediocre. Especially with calling games. I think they're asking a lot from him this year. And
That's true.
I'm losing faith in him. I think he's going to fall. You think he's going to fall into the Volpe category?
Whoa.
for my taste.
Right.
Oh, all right. What's we got here? We got the next one before we get the.
Hey, you asked me.
Yeah, I was about
Oh,
to say. Don
But you were
needs to
just
get-
sitting there. I was like, oh wait, did he go already?
You asked me. You're the host. You're supposed to ask. Right, okay. See, the term disappointment has so many like different connotations. Like, for instance, I fully expect Volpe to suck. Does that mean that you're gonna make him a disappointment? No. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of the same with Grisham. I actually fully expect Grisham to kind of suck this year. But if there was going to be a bigger disappointment, considering that price tag, I would say Grisham. But I am going to go with Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger will be my biggest disappointment. So I would completely agree with Luca. I think that he will have a disappointing year. I think it's going to be a downgrade. Did you see his spring stats? He had no home runs, and he had a 500 OPS. Now, I know spring doesn't matter, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has a poor year in comparison to last year. I think that contract was laughable. I hated it, and I don't understand why people were falling all over themselves to praise Brian Cashman. Bro, you got scammed. You didn't get the win. You got scammed, bro. Cody Bellinger, prior to last year, 4 of his 6 years prior to last year was disastrous. So, okay, if you want to include last year, 4 or 7, that means that half of the years of his career, he has been disappointing. His career has 1 great year, 1 bad year, 1 great year, 1 bad year. Why would the Dodgers get rid of him? Why would the Cubs get rid of him?
Exactly.
The Cubs couldn't wait to get rid of him.
That's
I
right.
watched a podcast with Cubs fans, and they were like, "Oh, thank God we got rid of him." Right? I watched a podcast where like, I don't care what Bellinger does with the Yankees, just get rid of him. I watched that podcast. I don't know who it was, but one of those Cubs fans said it, and I'm like, "Damn!" And then fast forward, and we've got the whole media filleting Brian Cashman over this contract. And I'm like, what are we doing? It's not that great a contract. It's okay. It was a slight overpay, above market value. I think that he's going to be fine, but it's going to be worse than last year. And considering what the expectations for Cody Bellinger, and considering like the pressure that's going to be on him offensively, I think he's going to have a down year offensively in comparison to last year. The only thing, though, that I will say is everyone will be so determined to praise Brian Cashman over that contract. They're going to say, oh, but what about his defense? What about his defense? Because that's one thing that's going to hold up next year. His defense is going to be fantastic. Whether in left field, center field, it's going to be right field. It's going to be phenomenal. First base, his defense is going to be great. So they're going to be like, oh, it makes it worth it. It's not. Because that, I think down year will be offensively. I think he's going to have a down year offensively. And this is what I watched Bellinger here in LA. The Dodgers packed that dude up and got rid of him. And the Cubs did the same thing. You do not get rid of superstars by packing them up and get rid of them for nothing. So he's not a superstar. I honestly don't understand why people are so obsessed with praising Brian Cashman for things he's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Cubs literally ate part of his salary, if I'm not mistaken. That was a dump. That was partially a salary dump. If I'm not mistaken, the Yankees literally said to the Cubs, hey, if we're going to get Cody Bellinger, you're going to take a decent chunk of his salary. If I'm not mistaken. So that wasn't like, oh my God, win Cashman. Cash God. No.
Right.
Exactly. Cash God.
Exactly.
Dumpster diving trash, man. You're absolutely right. Welcome. And
You're not getting 30.
all he needs is a 30-100 from Belly.
Never
I would take that in a heartbeat.
He didn't get 30 home runs last year.
Yeah.
He did not.
You know, Like
He's
Bellinger
a
reminds me
20
of
home run guy. He's gonna
the
hit
San
25
Francisco
home runs.
Giants from the 2010s, where they win every other year. You know that's just what it seems like. You know, and we got the best out of Belly last year. That's why he got to the point in the offseason. We've said it over and over. I'm like, I'm ready to just let him go. Screw
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I was
That's
done.
okay.
I didn't want him back.
That's good.
You know, after a while, I gave up. But before, because we haven't even gotten to tonight's game yet. Let's squeeze in one more season prediction. We're going to close it out with our World Series prediction.
Okay.
So we're going to go to the game, and then we'll close it out with the World Series. But give us, we're going to go with 3, but give us one hot take for the season.
Okay.
All right. Hot
No,
take.
and you know what? I'll kick this one off.
Kick it off, babe.
I think Jose Caballero is going to have more games at shortstop than Volpe. I think Caballero really threatens Volpe's position at shortstop. I think he's going to start off the season that well.
I love that. You know, you're
Yeah, I
speaking
don't know
my
if it's a
language.
hot take or wishful thinking, but
You're
Donald?
speaking my language, Uncle T. Look up.
Oof, this is a great one. Must I say, I wish Tats that I wish I could agree with you, Tats, because once again, it's the Yankees we're talking about. They're very emotionally invested in Anthony Volpe, like he's their godchild. Anywho, that's not the point. Hottest take. I'm going to throw one your way. Ben Rice becomes the starting catcher sooner rather than later.
Oh,
Ooh.
They're going to give
Out of necessity.
I think not that Goldschmidt's going to play well this season, but if we're just going to see a realistic drop off in Austin Wells' defense, Ben Rice starts calling games better. Book it. Ben Rice will be the starting catcher sooner rather than later.
but who plays first?
Goldie.
You're gonna go with a 40-year-old Paul Goldschmidt?
That's the Yankees' plan. That's the Yankees.
And actually, that makes the most sense of the Yankees' mentality. They'll platoon Bellinger and Goldschmidt.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's a good one. I like that one.
Chris?
I think the Yankees are going to make a trade on the left side of the infield by the deadline. Something's got to give. There's like nothing. It's a black hole. You know, I don't care about McMahon's defense. Fine. A lot of people can play defense. Can I have somebody who can hit or at least, 220 or something? He doesn't even hit righties well. I mean, he doesn't hit. Same thing. Shortstop is a problem. That's just that area. That's got to get solved. You can't have your shortstop. That's like your field general out on the field practically, and your infield. And we've got that position, which is so important, is up in the air and not solid. And I find it hard to believe that the Yankees can't find someone to solidify that infield defense to build around if they want to build around. I don't know I don't feel a plan anyway. If there is a larger plan, I don't know what it is, but anyway, so my bold prediction would be a trade to do something for the left side of the infield, something big. They should have got Bregman. They should have just freaking got Bregman. True. That's what they should have done. But
the plan is to sell chicken buckets. Well,
Hey,
you
don't
go.
knock the chicken bucket. I like the chicken bucket. That one bucket.
No,
feeds
I've
you
not tried the chicken bucket. Maybe the next time I go, I'll try the chicken bucket. Everyone talks about these chicken buckets. They talk about them
That's
more than
awesome.
our players that we sign because we don't sign anybody. Okay. My turn. Well, my major hot take is that Weathers will not last the season
Yeah.
as a starter. He's going to be demoted to the bullpen. And my other hot take is that Grisham is probably going to lose his job at some point. Those were the two I made in the last podcast, so I'm going to stick with that. I think the Weathers is not that good, and I think he's going to translate better out of the bullpen. And I think Trent Grisham is not that good. But the major problem here is Brian Cashman's enormous ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will he allow his only signing or his only trade acquisition, I should say, his only trade acquisition from outside the organization, will he allow for him to be moved to the bullpen and take the slings and arrows that way, admitting that he's not that good a starter? That's going to be interesting because I would not be surprised if he holds out. That's why Luis Gil's in AAA, by the way, because Ryan Weathers had an 11 ERA in spring training.
Right. Donald, do you read Robert Casey's blog, Bleeding Yankee Blue?
No, but I will if it's good.
It's excellent because he said basically this was yesterday or a couple days ago. Brian Cashman has somehow mastered the art of doing nothing while calling it stability.
Yes, I love that.
That's true.
Send me that link. This sounds great.
Another thing he said was decisions aren't made based on winning. They're made based on protecting previous decisions. It's baseball run by ego, not evidence. So if you don't read Robert,
I like this guy.
Yeah,
Shout out-
Robert Casey, Bleeding Yankee Blue.
What's his name?
Robert Casey. The blog is Bleeding Yankee Blue.
Robert
I'll
Casey.
send-
We are big fans of yours, and you're welcome to be on as a guest anytime.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really great. It's a freaking fantastic, really well put together.
Yeah,
point.
he's always on Cashman, and he's got his pulse. He knows as we do. Yeah.
So, I guess I could just sum up my hot take that Brian Cashman's ego will drive the decisions regarding Weathers and Trent Grisham and Anthony Volpe, because that is the big one.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
They're only protecting Anthony Volpe not because he's actually done anything. It's because they're protecting that they went so all in on him. And Brian Cashman was giving Joel Sherman shit. Like, we'll wait till he gets his feet wet and he's going to be this amazing player, blah, blah, blah. And Brian Cashman can't admit that he looks like a freaking doofus now. So he's
waist deep in experience and still can't do it.
Oh, exactly. He's swimming. Feet wet. He's actually swimming.
Hey, yeah. Don't you ever notice once the Yankees or Brian Cashman makes a mistake, he doubles down even harder on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
At least Boone makes the lineup, isn't it? You know what?
Yes.
I'm going to do a Yankified at some point in the next week, and I'm going to do an episode based on that article that was released regarding
that was comical.
Yeah, Brian Cashman going completely insane over this. I'm just, before we go back in the predictions, I could care less if the Easter Bunny writes the lineups. I don't
They still
give
suck.
a fuck. It just doesn't work. Whatever the process is, I don't care. It just doesn't work.
Exactly.
Right. Anyway, back to the predictions.
I was going to add something real quick.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned Grisham, you mentioned Volpe, you mentioned another player. You think McMahon could be possibly a part of that secretly protected list? Think about it. Last
Yeah.
year, not a great offensive third baseman. He's also earning $16 million this year.
Right.
So maybe Cashman wants to protect his investment.
Follow the money.
Yep.
Yep.
Very good point.
Yeah.
All right. Now, for tonight's game, let's get to those predictions. And for everybody that's still hanging out with us, appreciate every single one of you. Just make sure you hit that like button, sub button, and share this out. We're enjoying seeing all your takes in the chat.
Absolutely.
So
If you want your hot take recorded, send us the super chat, and you will have your hot take recorded on Donald's famous list. And then we will call you out, just like
Yes,
this
we
year.
will.
And we'll call it out at the end of the year.
All right. So for tonight's game, let's predict who will hit the first home run of the season. Will a home run be hit tonight? Who would it be? Chris?
Oh, it's going to be Ben Rice, but I think it's going to be a low score. I mean, it's Logan Webb, right, and Max Fried. It's going to be a good pitching matchup. So I don't think it's going to be like a high scoring game, but I think Ben Rice may knock one out. He's my man this year. I'm kind of riding on him. So I 1 year, although I have to say it's not really a sign of that a player's going to have a good year just because I pick him out, because I picked Andujar the year he hurt his wrist or whatever. So don't listen to me. I'm useless in that regard, but I like him, and I think he may do something tonight. And of course, the Yankees will win, no doubt. Opening
Well,
day.
that's the next question. You're getting ahead of us.
Yeah, that's Luca?
I was going to say Ben Rice puts one into McCovey Cove.
Ooh.
And right on cue, Sean Browning. Judge puts one in McCovey Cove. I'm going to really piss some people off here. I think Grisham hits the first home run. I think he's going to just shut everybody up, and it'll be one of his 14 that Chris said he'll hit. I think Grisham. I think Grisham could hit the first home run of the game. He had a very poor off spring training. I could see him coming in with a little oomph, in his little juice in his coffee.
Do you know what? That's a really good take, because remember how hot Volpe started last year, and everyone was talking about the torpedo bat. They were like, "Oh, the torpedo bat is making Anthony Volpe an all-star." And then 2 weeks later, he never hit a game. That's a very good take. Yeah, I can totally see that, Tats. One of his 14 that gets hit tonight. I would not be surprised.
Donald?
I'm going to go Austin Wells.
Ooh, back-to-back for Austin. So he had the first one last year.
Wells is going to have the first home run of the season. The reason why I'm saying that is because he actually did well for the DR offensively.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan, and I don't think he's going to have a good year this year. But I think that for the next couple of weeks, he's going to be riding that hot streak of hitting home runs as he did in the WBC. So I think that he pops one, and it might be the first home run of the game. I would not be surprised. So I'm going to go Austin Wells.
That would be awesome.
Armand,
If he was able to do it back-to-back
me and
years.
Armand, we're even though we're on opposite sides in New York, and in terms of who we root for, we're in the right wavelength. We're in the same wavelength.
Yep. All right. Let's go with we're gonna see Fried start the game tonight. What do you think his stat line will be?
Stat line. Where did I do that?
Who wants to go first?
Well, let's see. I got some.
I'll go. I'll think he's gonna go 5 and 5 1/3.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
2 runs. 5 1/3, 2 runs.
Go ahead.
I think he's going to give up the home run. Just one. I think it'll be like a 3-1 game Yankees.
So how many innings do you go? Sorry.
I'm with you. 5.1. I think a 1.08 ERA, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1
run.
home run, 5 strikeouts,
Beautiful.
1 base on balls.
I'm going to go 5 2/3 innings, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 3 runs.
Okay.
No matter hits, I'm going to go 6.
That's a really good stat line.
Well, I have him going 6 innings with 8 Ks. I think he gives up 4 runs. One of them will be a home run. I think, I can see Devers get taking him deep, and a lot of people saying that in the chat. Devers loves hitting against the Yankee pitching.
Devers.
And he will haunt us tonight again. But I think in that 6 innings, he's got the 8 Ks, 4 runs. I think he gives up on 9 hits. I don't think there's a lot. I think it's a lot of. He's gonna have 1 rough inning that's gonna fuck him up.
Oh, bro. Next episode will be fire if that happens.
Oh, God.
Well, we still
Let's
have
go.
our score prediction. Oh.
Okay.
Score
Well, I already
prediction?
I gave mine 3-1 Yankees. So
I'm going to go 5-3 Yankees.
I was going to joke around and say, I agree with Chris 3-1, even though he's giving up 4 runs. But well, I have the final as 5-4. I think our bullpen holds it down. Their bullpen's a little shaky. And I think that's because Logan Webb at home is tough. We're gonna scratch a run or 2, but I think we're gonna take this game on the back of the bullpen, and they'll blow the save. Oh,
Okay.
real quick, pause. Donald Mazza is in the chat. Mazza, good to see you.
Holy shit.
Glad that everything is okay. Wish you the best.
I missed you, Mazza. I was thinking about you. I was like, where's my man, Mazza?
Mazza's at work. He is doing his serving his military duties to protect all of us.
God bless
So
you, man. God bless you.
Mazza, love you. Send me a message if you get it, if you can.
Stay safe, my brother. And thank you for all you do. Okay. I'm on the same wavelength as a lot of you guys. I'm gonna go 5-3. I'm just debating on whether it's gonna be a Giants or the Yankees. I'm gonna go Yankees. I think it'll be 5-3 Yankees.
No, we're not expecting a huge
So
offensive
Mr. Negative
outburst.
has the Yankees winning a game. Yeah.
I heard that Bond's going to be around tonight on the broadcast. Bonds?
Yes, Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
He's
he's
gonna-
supposed to.
Yeah,
he's
he's
be on
supposed to
Netflix.
be around. So we don't see enough of him these days. But
No. Could we sign him?
Yeah, right.
Could we just sign him like as an as a coach? Bring him in.
I'll take it.
I'd take it.
All right.
Any matter?
And that is the in-game predictions. So now, as we wrap this up, first again, want to thank everybody that has stuck around with us as we are almost at the hour and a half mark. Like I said, it's always a long show for the predictions. Appreciate every single one of you. So now, without further ado, here are our World Series predictions, and we will kick it off with Luca.
Oof, put me right on the spot. Well, I have to figure out the American League team. I think the national team. I'm sorry, the National League team is pretty damn obvious.
Yeah,
It's the LA Dodgers. They're going to win the World Series three-peat. First time since the Yankees have done it. The American League, lot of good. You could see a rematch between the Jays and the Dodgers. It's possible. Tigers are a team out to look for. Then you have the AL West with the Mariners. But you know what? Somebody predicted it in the post. I'm actually going to go with the Tigers. I think the Tigers have a legit shot this year.
Yeah.
Dodgers over Tigers, but the Tigers are going to be the AL contenders.
Chris.
If that actually happens, Luca, man, I will be buying Tigers gear because I'm not a Tigers fan. But growing up, my mom and dad were Tigers fans. They listened on radio. But I was a Cub fan because my grandpa was a Cub fan. So had a couple different teams, in the house. But I think it's going to be a Dodgers Mariners World Series. I like the Mariners a little bit. They're making a little noise out there in the West, so we'll see. If it weren't for that, I would say the Tigers.
Mariners always have
Donald?
the pitching, but they never seem to have the offense. And
Yeah,
I'm not sure whether Big Dumper is going to hit 60 again.
Yeah.
But
Also, Julio
Mariners always
Rodriguez
should
never
be
really
there.
grew into himself.
But they've never really, as Tat says, they've never really grown into themselves. So
No, they haven't.
Count them. Even that year when they with Lou Piniella and they had the record wins, the Yankees still beat them up in the postseason.
Yeah.
Because the Mariners just never really show up in the postseason. So I'm not really buying into myself.
Yeah.
So me and Mel can agree. My prediction: me and Luca are on the same wavelength, like brothers from another mother here. It's the same thing. I'm going Dodgers Tigers. I could go Blue Jays, and I think the Blue Jays will win their division, but they might miss. They might miss Bo. But I wouldn't. I think the ALCS will be the Tigers and the Blue Jays. But I got the Tigers winning, and the only thing I'll disagree with Luca on is I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers win the World Series. I would not be surprised. Tariq Skubal opening night of a World Series, that's a win. And then, maybe the Dodgers fluked last year's World Series. They fluked it. I'm not sure whether they could do that again. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a surprise and the Tigers win the World Series. Would not be surprised, but one thing's for sure, the Dodgers are there. And
Yeah.
and I like them. I think they're a great fucking team. I really like the Dodgers. I don't care.
Oh yeah, they're
Come
fun
at
to
me,
watch.
I like them. I love their roster.
Yeah.
Their roster. They're fucking amazing to watch. They play baseball the right way.
Yeah.
And they run the right way. They're everything the Yankees aren't. So I like the Dodgers, and I would not hate it if they three-peat, but I think the Tigers are going to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I also have the Dodgers. I mean, what National League team is really going to challenge them? And who knows what they're going to do throughout the season. And for the American League, I have the Jays over the Tigers in the ALCS.
Yeah.
I think the Tigers are going to be a very big threat this year. They have a solid squad, good pitching. I think AJ Hinch is still there.
Yes, he is.
You really don't want to bet against him. He's a solid manager. Knows how to get the best out of his team. And I actually think the Jays are going to edge the Dodgers in the World Series. I don't think they three-peat. I think because of, you're seeing some of the National League teams, like Chris and I were talking about the Cubs, before the show. I think the Cubs and the Dodgers are going to be the NLCS. I think the Cubs are going to wear them down, and they're going to kind of limp into the World Series. I think they're going to be, drained. And I think the three-peat pressure is going to get to some of them. And obviously, because with the Jays winning, the Jays are always in the World Series right before baseball shuts down. I think it would be great for baseball's bottom line to have a repeat World Series.
It would be great.
I think that would be fun. I think that would also get fans that are tired of the Dodgers winning. I think that'll get a lot more attention to the World Series to have a repeat. And
I love your thought process there, Tat. So let's take it a step further.
Yeah.
What would be best or worst for a WBC, for a CBA? We got there. The CBA. What would be best or worst for the CBA negotiations if the Dodgers legitimately become a dynasty and just basically destroy the entire field and win the World Series? Will that just really, really punish them in the CBA negotiations and then mean a lockout? Or if the Tigers or Blue Jays, which we all expect, win the World Series or get to the World Series and beat them there, will that make the negotiations easier? That's a good question.
I think that there are two ways to look at it, right? I think that if the Dodgers miss the World Series, some odd reason that they just fall short, I don't think it'll affect the negotiations at all. If the Dodgers make it and win because of just the juggernaut that they are, I think that is going to be really bad for the players.
I agree.
Because a lot of the owners, we're going to get into it next week a little more when we have more time, but a lot of like the Guggenheim Group, the Steinbrenners, and Cohen are all in favor of a cap. So they're not worried about them, not being able to go full bank. Now, if you have all the team owners saying, you know what, we're done with this overspending, let's get a cap in, then it's going to make it a lot harder. But if the Dodgers are the only team that wins and players now just can't latch on to them, I think the players are going to have some inner turmoil. I think they're going to start to resent each other. And that's going to make things a lot worse for the players' negotiations.
Brilliant point.
I'm in a union. So like from my point of view, if we're all fighting with each other right before negotiations because we can't make our minds up of what we want to argue for, the bosses are sitting back going, yeah, let them wear each other down. We just have to sit back and just, wait for them to be so frustrated that they just want anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the situation that it's going to come to.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. I guess to tie in with our predictions.
Yep.
Let's finish it off with how far do the Yankees get? Because none of us have them in the World Series. So let's finish it off by how far do the Yankees get? Start with our host, Uncle T.
I think they get knocked out in the wild card. That's my guess.
I agree with Tats.
Yeah, and I hate saying it. You want to go into the
season. You run it back.
That's how I feel about it. I don't see them as a World Series team. I think they're a playoff team, but they're not a World Series team.
Chris, do you agree? Knocked out in the.
I do agree. Sorry, Tats, I was talking over you.
Yep.
I think if you want to run back the same team, you're going to get the same result. Really, or I guess this would be a lesser result, but I don't think it's going to benefit them to run everything back like they did last year. That's bullshit. And so yeah, I think they're gonna make it, but they're not gonna make it out of the wild card.
Look,
Swept in the divisional round.
Okay, I can see that.
swept in the division series. Love it. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, listen, we've rolled back a team that got obliterated in the division series. How are we gonna expect that they're gonna go one step better or two steps
Right.
better? That doesn't make any sense. That's why this whole offseason was built on a flawed premise. So Joel Sherman, I completely disagree with you. I don't know what's happened to you. I don't know why you're drinking the copium all of a sudden, but you are wrong to be just so excited about the Yankees rolling this thing back. How can you roll back something that failed?
Right.
That makes no sense. You cannot roll back something that failed. That's a flawed premise. You like the Blue Jays. You could argue could roll it back because they made the World Series. You know, you could argue, hey, the Dodgers could roll it back because they're the dynasty, right? But they didn't roll it back. They got better. What is the Yankees' excuse? What's the Yankees' excuse? They failed. They failed to win the division, snuck through the Red Sox, and got obliterated by the Blue Jays. And they're like, I love this team. I love this team. I love this team. And then Brian Cashman's attitude was sort of like, I'm not listening to you guys. I love our team. That's what Brian Cashman did. There was no scouting. There was no process. There was nothing done. They didn't improve anything. They've improved nowhere. So I'm sorry to say that they're going to go and win the World Series is absurd. They're going to make the World Series absurd. I've got them doing exactly what they did against the Blue Jays, a gentleman's sweep in the division series. Now, I'm going to say they're going to get through the wild card because if they play like the Twins or the Guardians or a team in the Central, they'll win.
Yeah,
they'll win the wild card round. But when they get to the division series, they're going to get their doors blown off them, unless they make a major trade in July, which of course could happen. It could happen. I'm not expecting it to happen, but it could happen. But as this roster stands, I've got them losing in the same way as they did to the Blue Jays, 3-1, and an obliteration to whoever it is in the DS. So yeah, DS loss.
All right. Well, a lot to unpack this show. A lot of predictions. Donald, does your pen have any more ink in it?
No.
But listen, we always enjoy these shows with you. 6 years strong, going into this year. So to the Chronicles, happy anniversary on the season. So good luck. Enjoy tonight's game. Hope your predictions do come true. And with that,
hey, Tat, can I throw in a word about my show on Friday?
Go for it.
Yeah. And Friday, I will be queuing up Northrop on the Short Porch again at probably, I haven't decided the time. Tats can let you know. We can shoot out on X, but I'll have a Giants fan with me, and he and I are going to mix it up on Friday, talking about the rivalry.
Yeah,
I love it. I want to say a quick word, but this is to our supporters, and Tats can get the last word. I want to say this: we've been doing this for 6 years strong, and I could not be more thankful for the people that are on this channel. Uncle Tats, you're my bro. We've been there from the start. Chris, you've also been you're an OG, and I'm so happy to have you back on with us. I'm looking forward to doing this with you. And Luca, really excited to have you on board. You have been just terrific since coming and joining seamlessly. And that's not easy to do. So a big thank you to you guys. But I want to say a big thank you to our subscribers. You guys are the reason why we do this. I mean, 6 years is something else. You know, there's a lot of podcasts would just go, you know what, let's pack it in. But
And Donald, did Donald pack it in?
That was unfortunate.
Right on. But no, no, we do appreciate everybody else. I share the same sentiment as Donald. But we will be back. Make sure you do tune in on Friday for the short porch. We will also be having our morning show as well. So with that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out, your friends, your family, the strangers on the corner. This is the Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm Uncle Taz with Donald, Luca, Chris. Wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.
Yeah, go Yankees.